things running, 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 running. Who have I been? Who am I becoming? Coming, coming, coming. Deep breaths with a young man learning, 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 learning. Take a walk with the cedars humming, 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 humming. Every fire candle burning, 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 burning. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. I am no master, I know nothing. I am no master and I know nothing, nothing, at least still young. But I am a servant and I know something. And I know nothing, definitely still young. Built on hunger and so fucking stubborn, life didn't bring undone. I might be busy. I am a witness, the life of one who carries all the secrets in the music, 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 music. Oh. More pages, more words to my story. More grace, more meaning unfolding. Take a drive in the rain park, Cascadia. Feel the warmth in my cold heart radiant. Two shakes and I'm feeling weightless. Heartaches, but it's actually painless. Take a vow with the pale moonlight, 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 moonlight. Take a look at myself through the third eye, third eye, third eye. Everything's already alright, always alright, always alright. Everything's already alright, always alright, always alright. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. I'm black as a night. I'm black as the night. Black as the night. I'm black as the night. I'm black as the night with a little bit of moonlight shining from the center within. Sharp and smooth to the touch of my red little cinnamon mane. It's my makeup, makeup, Never mind the nightmares, always gonna wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Oh, you got the keys. Oh, you got the keys. You got the keys, but I never keep my door locked. You got the keys, but I never keep the door locked. You can always come right in. My arms are full, you can bet your sweet eyes I will drop that shit right then. I might be busy, but I always get some time to surrender to your beauty, 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 beauty. Oh, hey. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. Out of darkness, light is pumping, 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 pumping. Into white light, all things running, 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 running. Who have I been? Who am I becoming? Who have I been? Who am I becoming? Coming, coming, coming. Deep breaths for a young man learning, 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 learning. Take a look at myself through the third eye, third eye, third eye. I am no master, I know nothing. I am no master and I know nothing. I know master and I know nothing. But I am a servant and I know something. I am a servant and I know something. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. I believe in the good things coming, 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 coming. Hi, everybody. What a day today. It was like the sun decided to show up to say yes on 522 as well. After a week of raining, which I find out is actually good for the salmon around here, helping them swim home. And the coffee's good for us around here. Because we buy it, it's actually coffee beans, what we sell here. When we buy coffee beans, they get roasted, and then we crunch them up and we put them in espresso, and they're actually coffee beans. And when we make you our coffee, it's actually coffee. It's just one of those things I never thought I had to brag about until right around now. Right? I mean, today, what a topic. Yes on 522 is what the day is about. That's to label our foods. Now, around home, we call that let us know what we're taking in, right? Because knowledge is what empowers us. There's a lot of topics. There's Monsanto, there's labeling, there's GMOs. Are GMOs good or bad or what? Today focused a light on just label them. And that's kind of where we're picking today. Yes on 522 means to label it. Now, we're going to be talking about GMOs, and we're going to be talking about Monsanto today, and we're going to be talking about our food and our food rights, and is it okay for someone or a corporation to own corn? Is it okay for us to be able to grow our own foods if we wanted to? These are all topics that we're going to talk about face to face today, instead of just on the internet. Face to face is the old-fashioned way of telling everybody their opinion. In a coffee shop, it's okay to have more than one opinion too. It's honorable discourse is what we get to have around coffee. So no matter where your questions today lie with our representatives that are here, speak your truth and raise your voice. That's what today is all about. And I also think if we're, well, to speak a little bit more on the subject, I would like to bring up our very own local girl, Miss Rachel Tomczyk, to the stage. Welcome.
Little shorter than Clint. So, like I said last week when we had Pam Larry here from Prop 37 in California, I love this place. I love the name of it. It's soul food. It feeds our souls and it feeds this community. And with this topic of Yes on 522, which is about food and our right to know what's in our food, where our food comes from and how it's produced, this is the perfect spot for that. And like Clint said, there's always two sides to the issue, and we want you to express your opinions on both sides. Personally, I'm totally for knowledge and empowerment through knowledge, and that's what this bill is about. It would require labeling all genetically engineered food. So just to give you some ideas about where we're at with this campaign, we're in the last 5 weeks of this campaign. We've been at the farmers markets. This weekend is one of our largest festivals in Washington State. Salmon Days starts tomorrow. It's from 10 to 6. And then again on Sunday. It's a great opportunity to see one of the really big issues for one of the first animals that's coming on the scene as a possible genetically engineered salmon. It's a great place to go and check it out, see what's going on with that topic there. We're in these last few weeks before we vote on November 5th. And some of the things that have started to come out from the no side of this campaign is this idea that it's going to raise our food costs. And we believe that companies build marketing and labeling into their budgets. It's a part of what they do. At Super Bowl, they change their labels. At Thanksgiving, at Christmas, at different times of the year, they change their labels. It's all a part of their marketing. This is just one small thing. For example, if you walk over to QFC and you look for kettle potato chips that have the non-GMO project verified little sticker on there for their regular potato chips, and then you look at their potato chips that are their cheese cheddar flavor that does not have that because the cheese flavoring has corn derivatives in it, the price is the same. There's no difference for having a butterfly on one package and not having a butterfly on the other. So this won't raise the cost any way that would affect people like the No campaign has stated. 64 countries around this world label or have completely banned genetically engineered food. We're a little behind in the times. We just need to jump on that wagon and start doing what people around the world have already been doing. And so another thing that's come out is the idea that we will have to label dog food, but we won't have to label the steak that we eat. The reason for that is that our dog food is most often made with genetically engineered corn or soy, and therefore it would have to be labeled. The steak, the cow, has not been genetically engineered, not yet at this point. Hopefully it stays that way. And therefore, the meat does not need to be labeled that it's been genetically engineered. Basically what this is it's a first-tier labeling where we label the food that is consumed by humans. That's the other reason that pet food would potentially have to be labeled or not labeled. People don't consume that. So it's not the same as California with their plan that they had for labeling pet food as well. This is an opportunity for us to show our voices, to bring our voices to this issue. It's a state issue. So I talked to a group of students at a school this morning and was telling them, you know, this is a really great opportunity for everyone to have your voice heard. I feel as though state initiatives are easier to see the impact that we have as a community and as a people of Washington State versus a federal initiative. So this is a great opportunity to have your voice heard. It's a knowledge issue. We have a right to know. We have a right to know what's in our food, how it's produced, where it comes from. I have a table set up over here. We're going to be here all day. I've got really great little samples of Bronner's soap, which is a company that has endorsed 522. They're awesome, amazing people. We've got some little cookies over there from Mary's Gone Crackers, which is another endorser of our campaign. I've got tons of literature. I've got bumper stickers, ideas for where to put stuff. Make your car a billboard. Drive it around. You can see outside we've got this awesome fishy food car with the giant apple on top. If you go out, please feel free to take a picture with it. Post it on Facebook and tag Soul Food or Clint or anybody that you know so we can find your pictures. We're going to make a really cool video about our day today. I've got posters that you can put in your apartment or your townhome windows. Put them in your yard. And then just talk to people. If you're standing in the grocery store and you see someone has a question or they have a product that has the little butterfly on it, say, hey, do you know about 522? There's still a lot of people that haven't been talked to about 522 or don't know about it. So it's a great opportunity to spread the word and just talk to people. And I have a couple of other really awesome people who are going to be speaking as well, and I wanted to just open it quickly for some questions. If anybody has some questions, I'd be happy to answer. Any questions? Yeah, Aaron.
What are the out-of-state effects of something like this? Like if Washington has to label what's coming in from, let's say, Texas is sending something in that's genetically
Hmm.
modified, how is that going to affect like what comes into the state and what goes out of the state?
Yeah. So the question is about if Texas were if we're putting something into Washington State, bringing in a food item, how would that affect labeling? So anything that came into Washington State would have to be labeled that it contains genetically engineered corn or soy or papaya, mango, anything like that would have to be labeled. When we export, for example, if we export corn or soy to Europe or to Japan or something like that, we already have to label those products when they get there. So we already label the exports that we send out of the country. And then anything that came into Washington State would have to be labeled.
And would that affect the like the state's economy in a heavy way at all?
Yeah,
Would it
so
deter people?
we actually are thinking that labeling will actually increase our economy because as the reason that the No campaign fights back against this so hard is because they know there's not a market. In Europe and in Japan and other countries that have either banned or already labeled their food, there's not people don't buy it. It is bought by some people, but the market isn't big enough to be sustainable. And so we believe that people will start to buy more whole foods, more from CSAs, from farmers markets, and it would actually increase our potential for export because people would say, oh, you're a farm that's not growing genetically engineered food. We want to buy from you guys. So it would actually have a good impact on our economy. Any other questions? No? So I would like to bring up Howard Harrison, who's one of the other local coordinators for the East Side. Howard has been amazing. He and I have been working on this campaign since January, as have been some other people that are in the audience here. Howard is a Vietnam vet and just recently went back to Vietnam to tour the land and meet the people and experience Vietnam in a totally different way. So I'm really excited that he's willing to come and talk to us. Thanks, Howard.
Thank you. Again, my name's Howard Harrison, and a little bit about my background to know the perspective that I'm coming to this from. I've been on this campaign since its start here in the state. I'm a horticulturist. I'm a certified professional horticulturist. I attended the Lake Washington Institute of Technology Environmental Horticulture program, so I have some science background. So I think there's many no people that think that the yes people are just not scientifically literate, and so I point that out. I also completed a Washington State Certified Sustainable Professional Horticulturist course also so I've been involved in the horticulture community for some time, and with pesticides being one of the focuses. We put on a pesticide summit a couple years ago in Seattle and brought people from all over the country. And yeah, I am a Vietnam veteran, and I went back to Vietnam recently with the Soldier's Heart organization, which is an organization that brings veterans back to Vietnam to meet with the Viet Cong, the NVA, our former enemies, to see the country as it is now. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see the friendliness of the people there, the welcoming of even from the veterans. They don't have bitterness towards the veterans, but I also was really interested in seeing the effects of Agent Orange there, because as you imagine would know Monsanto was one of the, well, was the biggest, but also one of several chemical companies which produce Agent Orange, which were sprayed all over the country to defoliate. And that was sprayed directly on people as well as the land, and it defoliated, tens of millions of acres, and there were tens of millions of Agent Orange sprayed. And Agent Orange was produced by Monsanto in 1945, and it's made of a couple of pesticides, 2,4-D mixed with 2,4,5-T, and it was contaminated with dioxin. And when I say contaminated with, you would think, well, how could that happen? But interestingly enough, the fertilizers and pesticides that we use on our lawn, if you use like weed and feed or a synthetic fertilizer, has inert ingredients which don't have to be listed. And those inert ingredients are contain hazardous materials. Companies that make these products have to get rid of those hazardous materials somehow, and that's a very expensive product. So they add them in their fertilizers and other pesticides, without us knowing it, and without them having to list it on the label. So that's another good reason not to use synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. A little bit about Monsanto's history. And I think, this campaign, which, both sides are saying, of course, I feel very justifiably are saying that, Monsanto is lying about these things. And then the No campaign is saying that we lie about some of the facts that we present. And, of course, being knowledgeable about the Yes campaign, I know that there is no lies coming from our side. But as I was interviewed a little bit in a rally that we had on Westlake about a month ago or so, I pointed out that, in my opinion, people that are undecided on this issue, it can be pretty much a matter of trust. Who do you trust on quoting statistics? And is it Monsanto or is it PCC? And I think if you can, look at the history of the pro and the no campaigns, it's easy to see, who you should trust in the facts that they're presenting. And, having been involved with politics and campaigns, it's interesting that a campaign can have statements that are absolute lies, and there's no accountability for that. There's nobody saying, "Oh, you lied," we have to kick you off the campaign. They just get away with it. So a little bit more on Monsanto's history to point out their history anyway. They were started in 1901. Just a few facts. 1930s, they acquired Swan Chemical Corporation, which manufactures polychlorinated biphenyls, or PCBs, which I think a lot of us are familiar with. And in 1945, they began manufacturing agricultural chemicals. These include 2,4-D, an herbicide that was mixed with 2,4,5-T to create Agent Orange, a defoliant contaminated with dioxin that was produced for the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. And incidentally, there have been tens of thousands of deaths of U.S. Soldiers to Agent Orange. And there's still people that are affected that are still alive. And of course, there's hundreds of thousands that were died of complications for Agent Orange in Vietnam. 1962 through 1971 becomes principal company supplying Agent Orange to U.S. military for use in the Vietnam War. The Air Force sprayed nearly 4 million acres of South Vietnam with 18 million gallons of Agent Orange and similar defoliants, the effects of which are still being felt today. And in that regard, in talking about Agent Orange and questioning Vietnamese about it, I found that there have been 3 or 4 generations of people that from the original person that was subject to Agent Orange. 3 or 4 generations later, the effects are still felt in the bursts in those generations down the line. And it has been shown that it has become part of their DNA. So that's something to think about in these pesticides, that the more that is found out about them, the more harmful they can be seen to be. In 1982, dioxin, which is a byproduct of PCB production, is found at up to 127 parts per billion in the Missouri community of Times Beach, and over 2,000 people have to be permanently relocated by the EPA. Monsanto denies any connection despite its PCB manufacturing plant in the area. So again, dioxin, byproduct of PCBs, so they add it to Agent Orange. Of course, the PCBs were needed to be disposed of before 1982 to be, putting it in Agent Orange. So there's a history here of adding things that don't have to be listed to their properties. So the and when a no person will point out that there are no studies done that show harmful effects of genetically engineered products, there are some peer-reviewed studies that do show harmful effects. Of course, the main focus of this campaign, of course, is just labeling. There's no need for proof of harm. But some studies that have been done by Monsanto are the only ones that they will speak of, were purposely cut short on their experimentation because they knew that if the experiment was prolonged beyond the 30 days or 90 days that they cut it off, that the side effects would show up after that time. So the studies that have been done by Monsanto, paid for by Monsanto, have the results that Monsanto wants. And of course, the Monsanto Protection Act that was recently in a farm bill or in a budget bill was designed to prevent any studies done on Monsanto, or even to make it illegal to sue Monsanto. So is that the kind of a company that you would trust in making a decision about this? A couple little personal stories that things that I came up with me is when I was tabling outside of the Redmond farmers market. I was right next to a farmer on the other side of the little barrier there, and he volunteered a little story after we were breaking down. He talked about his brother being, one of the big farmers, mega farmers in Ohio. He said he used to visit his brother occasionally, and they go pheasant hunting. And he said more recently when he's gone there, and it's pretty much all GMO now, corn in Ohio. He said there weren't any pheasants, and he said there weren't any birds. And if anybody has read Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, you know, the idea of Silent Spring is that pesticides were killing all the birds. Well, it's happening again, and it should cause a lot of concern. And interestingly enough, one of the people in our group in Vietnam was a lady that worked at Kent State, and she was there during the students that were killed there that were protesting the Vietnam War. But she made a comment that that you know, if you ban GMO corn in Ohio, that would be banning all of the corn in Ohio. But that's not an argument for the no side, but it shows the extent that Monsanto has had in you know, kind of bullying farmers into growing genetically engineered crops. Another story I heard from somebody that we were talking with while tabling is that the concerns St. Louis, where Monsanto is located. And he said that some schoolboys, as they would be riding their bikes and hit a puddle, would create sparks from the chemicals that were in the ground. So it's so polluted over there near the Monsanto plant. And I have an excellent handout that I made from a PCC, the Sound Consumer. If you belong to PCC, you get that. But this recent issue has a Q&A about the I-522 campaign, and it's got some excellent facts and answers to the questions that the No campaign come up with. And but I think I won't go through all of these. These are I went to their website and I reformatted it so it's on a 2-page double back printout. You can get one of those at the table. But I think at this point I'll open it up for any questions that you might have of me. Okay, thank you.
And this lovely lady coming towards the stage right now needs no introduction. Miss Sarah is going to tell us the mommy perspective on GMOs.
Okay, so I do have to say that it is the mom perspective, but it's more of the community rights perspective also. One of the things, whereas I'm not a scientist, I have had the opportunity to read the information and use my brain like any normal human being and be like, okay, so what's going on here? But my perspective is coming from community organizing and particularly how as a community we can affect the changes that we want to. Some of the things that has been really remarkable, it's a quick history lesson. Okay, so if you think about food, and if you think about the Industrial Revolution and the Agricultural Revolution and how much our food changed, well, there was this righteous group of ladies that fought for about 15 years up until 1902. Actually, I guess it was 1906. And what they were fighting for was to make sure that people knew what was in their food. They saw their kids dying. They saw their husbands dying from weird things in the alcohol that they was drinking. And it wasn't just the alcohol, but it was what was going in it. And so they put up this righteous fight for families to know what was in their food, for all of us to know what was in our food. And so in the United States, we have this incredible long history of fighting so that we can make educated choices for ourselves. One of the things when Clint and I were talking about this movement of 522 and why we wanted to put our foot forward into it and support it, especially because we have both worked so hard in community, particularly through artists and musicians and community gatherings, was that we really fundamentally believe that people are smart enough to make their own choices. And that's a really important thing. And so one of the big driving factors for us is we want people to make their own choices. We want them to go read the things that are about what do genetically modified foods do. You know, not all genetically modified foods come from Monsanto. But that's important. Those are the important things that are in this discussion. What can be some of the benefits? What are the downfalls? It's the understanding that science doesn't live in a bubble. It lives in our communities. And we as communities have this beautiful opportunity to engage all of the different aspects of what GMOs are coming and bringing into our lives and make educated choices that are going to be right for our planet and right for our homes and right for our communities, and so that we can look at these different places of sustainability. We have a lot of people we have to feed in the next 100 years. There's an enormous amount of people that we need to feed, and if we don't take a look at the socioeconomics, historical perspectives, and how people wish to live their lives, and combine that with the scientific research that we have, then we're just going to be perpetuating problems upon problem upon problem. So Clint asked me to kind of come up and say, like, okay, so capture what we've been talking about every night in a 4-minute bubble. But I think what I just really want to say is please read the literature that's out there. Understand what's happening. Understand that, first of all, 522 is just the tip of the iceberg in when you're going to be talking about GMOs. And don't be scared of science. Science is awesome. That's why we have lights. I have indoor plumbing because of science, and let me tell you, like, I'm super stoked about that. But also, the science is not the only way to look at the world. And science is this beautiful thing that actually gets to help us make our world even bigger and more beautiful. And it's about using our brains and using where we come from and our family histories and our cultural lineages to integrate that all together. So please read the information, make an educated choice, and believe in people. We're smart. We'll make the right decisions for who we are and for what we want to do on this planet. So that was my 4-minute encapsulated bubble. And so I would like to bring Clint back onto the stage to close out this little section. Thank you guys so much for coming today.
Thanks. Washington has voted for the right to marry whoever we want, be in love with whoever we want. We've also voted for the right to smoke the finest green. I'd like to know that what's in that is actually what it says it is. I think that if Washington continues this pattern of standing up and saying what's in our food, I think we have the right for that. And all today we're holding post, taking signs and putting it into our cars and talking to our friends about it. And tonight at 7 o'clock we'll start the big show with Chad Knight and with other musicians and other speakers, and we'll raise the level tonight. So I decided to end this round with an old song. There's something happening here, and what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I've got to beware. I think it's time now we stop. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. Must have been 1,000 people in the streets, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for a sign. It's time now we stop. Hey, now what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What's going down? Paranoia strikes deep into your life. It will creep, and it starts when you're always afraid. You step out of line, they come and take you away. Things time now we stop. Hey, now what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Oh, what's here right now? I'm a living sunset, got diamonds in my bones. Push me to the edge, but my will is stone. I believe in a better way. Fools will be fools, and wise will be wise. But I will look this world straight in the eyes. I believe in a better way. I believe in a better way. What good is a man who won't take a stand? And what good is a cynic with no better plan? I believe in a better way. Reality is sharp, 'cause it feels like a knife. And everyone I know is in the fight of their lives. I believe in a better way. Oh, I believe in a better way. So now for 7 years under this roof, we've had the words that say, be the change you wish to see in the world. Above our heads, we live by that. What a historic time right now in Washington where we can make a difference. Starts with one, and it goes to everybody. Today, let's start with our one, and let's take it to the rest of the state. Tell people to show up at 7 o'clock tonight. Be armed with their cell phones. Our swords of the new millennium. We'll use the cameras. We'll film what happens here tonight. We'll put it all together and we'll put it out as one. And we'll let them know that under this roof today we were raised in a consciousness. And we were stepping forward. Thanks for being a part of it, guys. See you at 7. The most important thing, what creamery is it? Strauss Family Creamery. Donated GMO-free ice cream for everybody this afternoon. And so let's start bringing out the ice cream on a sunny day. And Yeah. If you got the power of ice cream on your side, there's really no stopping you. So ice cream for everybody.
Lend your hands, lend your movement, anything you can. Come to teach, come to be taught. Come in the likeness and the image of God. 'Cause you can be like that, with all that humbleness and all that respect. All the power invested in me.